have a seat?
What's up, man? How you been?
What's up, bro? Restless Ambition, Alex in the house.
Hey, Restless Ambition / Pura Ambición, dog. I got this little new project going on right now, you know what I mean? So we're going to talk about a little about that today. So,
For sure. I see you got the new hats in.
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
It's crazy because the last time we did this podcast was months ago, right? How long ago? A few months ago?
I'll say maybe about 4 or 5 months, maybe.
4 or 5 months ago.
Yeah,
we got a new studio design. We got new clothing design.
Right.
And I want to talk about that, bro. What inspired you with this design right here that you got coming out?
Look, man, I'm real big in the Hispanic culture. I'm not sure how much you know about me or whatnot, but I'm real big in the Hispanic culture, and I feel like there's not many people doing what I'm doing in the Hispanic culture, so I feel like it's a given. I have to kind of put on for my people, you know what I mean?
Growing up in Inglewood, California, right?
Yeah.
Why does I have a question for you. If you were to move to a different city, would you just be repping LA, or would it always be in Inglewood?
Nah, man, like, come on, dog. Like, I mean, if you from Inglewood, you know what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? Like, we don't relate to LA. We say, when they say you from LA, nah, I'm from LA County, but I'm from Inglewood, my man.
Inglewood,
you know what I mean?
right?
Like, if you don't know what Inglewood is, you probably know now because of stadiums and all this shit going around it. But I mean, Inglewood, it's its own thing. So yeah, I rep Inglewood.
There's a lot of pride coming from the city of Inglewood because I moved out of Inglewood and then I moved into South Central, right?
Right.
And you know, South Central is its own thing.
Yeah.
It's a lot of pride in South Central. But when people ask me like, "Oh, what city you grow up in?" I still say, "Oh, I'm like I grew up in Inglewood."
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a lot of pride coming in that city. There's a lot of big things going on in that city right now.
Well, now, yeah.
Yeah, hopefully we could get a lot more business owners in Inglewood into the podcast and talk a little bit more about their adventures and stuff like that. But today we got the big bad Restless Ambition brand, Pura Ambición.
I love it,
bro.
Hell yeah.
You know what's crazy, man? A lot of people ask me sometimes about like what got me into cameras and what keeps me going. And I think you were one of the very first people that contracted me, believed in my work. Yeah. And I'll forever like love you for that, man. Yeah. I respect you, and you're just always a pleasure to work with, bro. Every time I, set up my gear, every time I go out and shoot, every time I look back in my business, there's no way in doubt I don't think about you, bro. And like because I feel like you were the very first person I had to work with, bro. The very first real, authentic. You inquired, yo, let's meet at this location. What are your prices? This is the project I want to shoot. I pulled up in my car. I was nervous. You know, we got in there, we shot. I have a question for you. Because, you were like one of my first inspiring clients that I've had for a long time. What inspires you to keep going?
Shit, well, first things first, man. I want to say thank you, man. Like, dude, that shit means a lot. It means a lot. It really does. You know what I mean? I take a lot of pride in that. What inspires me? Shit, man, I don't know. I think we had this conversation prior on the last podcast that we had. My biggest inspiration, I don't know, man. I guess it's just it's a given of mine, like fucking a God-given gift of mine. It's just one of those things where I'm a person that likes to inspire people. You know what I mean? I like to set examples. I can consider myself I'm gonna say this in the humblest way possible. I do consider myself a fucking leader, you know what I mean? And a leader should lead by example. And I feel like that's what it is, so.
I think it's funny because us, like, and I say us leaders, right? Yeah. Because no one should ever shame that. If you want to call yourself a leader, then you're a leader. Right. That's who you are. You are who you say you are. I listen to Kevin Hart a lot, and he got on stage and he's a comedian. He's just like, I got all this money and this and that, and I'm top shit. And then he goes, and I'm a really humble person. And then like people like looking at him sideways, and then he does his punchline. He's like, now I know after what I just said, it doesn't sound so humble, but yes, I'm a humble person, and everybody laughs. Like, how can you say that you have this drive and that you have a business and that you're go-getter? Yeah. And then how do you put the word humble into that? Because a lot of people that are looking from the outside, they like to look in and be like, humble yourself. Have you ever gotten that? You need to humble yourself?
Maybe years ago, maybe, yeah. But I'll tell you, I would kind of like correct that, right? From experience. And I'm speaking from experience right now. When they say I'm humble, you don't need to say you're humble. I mean, your actions should speak for themselves. You know what I mean? Somebody that says, I'm humble, you don't just add that word to yourself. Humble is a big word, man. I mean, it's a deep word. So for me, it's like, hey, man, like, you really humble. Somebody that's truly, truly humble won't even speak on it. You would know. You would just know off the bat that guy is fucking humble or that female is fucking humble because actions speak for themselves.
And I like that you say female too, because honestly, like our partners play a huge role in that and who we are as what we identify here. And I feel like females, like they should be, I don't know. For me, I would like a partner that like speaks up for you. Right. I've been in situations where I've been on double dates and the other person's partner is like, oh, my boyfriend this, my boyfriend that, my boyfriend this. And I'm sitting there like, babe, like,
yeah.
Hit him with something. Hit him with a left. Hit him with a right. Like, you know, because if I say it, then it comes off as like snobby, unhumble. If our partners say it, then it's just like, you know, they're speaking on like good about us. Yeah. So it has to come from somebody else other than yourself.
Exactly. I'm gonna say it in Spanish. I can't rephrase it in English. So I know it best in Spanish. Hay que no poner la corona uno mismo que se la ponga otra gente. Meaning, don't put the crown on yourself. Let somebody else put that crown on for you. You know what I mean? Yeah. Let somebody else say that for you. Like, hey, that fucking guy or that girl is they're fucking humble. But by you putting it on yourself is like, it could come out a little like, are you really humble? You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's like,
I don't know. That's how I see it. I mean, people might have different perspectives with it, but if we're talking about that topic, that's how I see that situation.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I see that for sure.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you too, pura ambición, bro. Tell me about a moment that you would classify as like your most horrible day and why, and how maybe your brand helped you out through that.
Fuck, man. I mean, shit. Pura ambición. We're talking. Well, are we talking in general? Restless ambition, pura ambición.
We're talking like just in general, how like your brand has helped you through whatever it could be. Maybe one day you didn't have the rent, or you know, maybe your pet goldfish, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I think in that situation, man, it's one of those things where it's like, hey, like, pretty much practice what you preach. You know what I mean? Like, I'm promoting this shit. Like I just said earlier, you know what I mean? Lead by example. How am I gonna promote something that I'm not even doing myself? I mean, like, I don't care if you're just working at a job, you're fucking 9 to 5, you're starting a business. It's like, hey man, if you're gonna start some shit, have that fucking ambition behind it, because that's what's gonna maybe push you to that fucking, push you through the edge. You know what I mean? Like, whatever it is that you're going through, I mean, life happens, you know what I mean? Life happens, shit happens. But reading that shit alone is like, hey man, like in my situation, I mean, I'm not speaking for anybody else, but in my situation, it's like, hey, pura ambición is like, how am I fucking selling some shit or promoting something that I don't even do myself? But I mean, as far as your question goes, like, have I a hard time? I don't know, man. It's tough, man. It's been a lot.
Dude, you know what I noticed, man, with the digital age, you know, everybody has their own businesses.
Right.
Out of nowhere, everybody's just a business owner. Yeah. Everybody you talk to is a business owner, right? Lashes, eyebrows, clothing, right. You know, photography, videography. Like, what other businesses that people like?
Well, I mean, I wouldn't say. See, when you say business owners, man, that's a big word. That's a big statement. That's like deep, deep, deep. You know what I mean? Like, you can't just say I'm a business owner. I mean, it's levels to this shit. That's how I see it, right? It's either you have a side hustle, you got side income, or you're a full-blown fucking business. A full fucking blown business, in my opinion, is like, hey, I don't do no 9 to 5. I'm 100% committed to my shit. I don't need a 9 to 5. I'm a fucking hustler. I'm gonna get this shit done, like, through my business. That's a full-blown business. Now you're telling me a side hustle somebody that's like, hey man, like, I'm not there yet. I'm just not there yet to quit my job. Like, that's a side hustle. A side income to me is like, hey man, this is just a hobby to me. You know what I mean?
You know, that's interesting, man, because I have a buddy that he owns a big factory in El Segundo.
Okay.
And he actually touched upon that subject, what it means to be a business owner.
Right.
And he got kind of like butthurt when he heard these young entrepreneurs calling themselves business owners. Yeah. He got upset.
100%.
And I'm pretty sure, you know, he owns a factory in El Segundo. Right. I'm pretty sure he goes through permits, you know, legal fees.
Fuck yeah.
So maybe
taxes,
he gets
all kinds of shit. Yeah.
Maybe he gets a little upset when people are like, I'm a business owner. Like, oh, all of a sudden everybody's a business owner.
I mean, just because you own an LLC does not make you. I mean, well, it does. legal in formality, it does make you a business owner because
Yeah.
you do own a business. But in our reality, to me, and this is me speaking personally, a true business owner, anybody can get an LLC, man. You go pay the fees, get yourself an LLC, and yeah, legally speaking, yeah, you are a business. You do own a business.
Yeah.
But a business to me is somebody that legit lives off of just a fucking business. Like
That's your definition of a business
that's
owner.
my definition of business.
I have a
side
question.
hustle. No, there's levels to that shit. That's how I see it.
Okay, so my next question
Yeah.
here is, and my question is, with like the clothing age, with everything, with all these new businesses coming in, how do you think the clothing, like selling clothing brands, you think it's been affected lately? You think it's gotten better? You think there's more opportunity? Is it hard? Because the way I see it, bro, it must be hard to go in there and design something to be like unique. Because my next question was going to be, what sets you apart from the rest of the clothing brands?
What sets me apart from the rest of clothing brands is that anybody could create a clothing brand. It's not rocket science. Okay. So I tell people this all the time. It's not rocket science. Anybody can create a nice logo. Anybody can create a nice name or whatnot. It's just a matter of, okay, like, what's the authenticity behind it? That's what's gonna separate you in the clothing. I'm talking about because that's my niche, right? So the best way I can explain this to you is what separates me is that the authenticity behind it, right? I'm creating something that people can relate to. It's a relatable message versus, like if you see these messages, I have this little thing going on right now where it's like, okay, pura ambición is I have little like motivational things on the side of them. Like, trabajo honrado, dinero limpio, right? That means basically, for those that know what that means, you know what I mean? Trabajo honrado, dinero limpio. Like, that's a relatable ass message for people like me, blue collar guys, those fucking guys that are out there hustling. Like, hey, man, like, we're not doing no illegal shit here, dog. We're literally working, busting our ass to really, like, get what we get. You know what I mean?
You know what? That's a touchy subject, man.
Yeah.
I work hard.
Yeah.
But it's so touchy. It's so touchy because you can't say nothing about anyone without offending somebody.
That's what I'm saying.
Right. So it's like me. I work so hard, and I see people like, and then it makes you wonder, like, bro, you're not owning this and buying this off of just what you're doing, bro. Like,
that's what I'm saying.
What is going on here? You know.
Yeah.
And that's why I say it's a blessing when like you're doing so well for yourself that people think that you're not just selling. Whatever it is, you're just selling.
Automatically, people are gonna automatically think, "Hey, man, this guy, what the fuck's he doing? What is he doing?" No,
yeah,
man, that's not the case, and that's my purpose here. Like, hey, man, like, it's not all about that. It's pura ambición. Like, dude, this is legit ambition. Like, straight to the point.
I don't know why. It's crazy I even bringing this up, but I've gotten investigated before.
No shit.
Yeah. I don't know, like, if with the thing about the government, I don't know if they just kind of see like when they see a lot of movement, they get curious, It's like the government always wants a piece. So I've gotten a letter in the mail saying that I was being investigated, and I didn't even know why.
That's crazy.
But I had a feeling it's because the Airbnb properties is whatever the fuck. I don't know so to me, bro, honestly, I've always been like, I was a cadet when I was young. I want to go into a career of law enforcement. If I don't get there, then at the very least I know that I'm still serving my country, right, through my job now, but which I do like a lot. But I can never feel like I can go on and rant about it, like my money's clean and forget anybody else is doing anything otherwise, because you just never know who the hell you're offending,
Yeah.
You could offending your own best friends, your own family members, you're just like, shit, like, I'd rather just shut up.
Yeah.
But I do have a lot of pride in, trabajo duro and dinero, like, what I messed up.
Trabajo honrado, dinero limpio. Trabajo honrado, dinero limpio.
Dinero limpio. I like that. So I'm a big believer. All right, next subject before we get canceled by everybody, but how you call it? What do you think about the studio, man? What do you think about the progress?
Man, like, shit. From the last time I was here, it's just fucking a big difference, man.
Yeah.
It seems like you really investing some serious money into this shit, and it seems like you really want to do your thing doing this podcasting. So what inspired you to do this?
You know what? I feel like I'm a little late on it, but that's where you doom yourself, right? like you're never a little too late to start anything.
Right.
You want to start your own car wash business? Oh, but everyone else is doing it. Like, nah. It's like whatever sets you apart. The way I'm tackling this is I want to set up a space where people could be productive and creative. In a world full of bullshit, I want people to be able to have a safe space to be productive. And podcast is one thing. And I think podcast is a good way of networking. You know, you built this with your bare hands, you put a lot of work in it, and it feels good to have like host people here, right? So I'm hoping other business owners, creators, or anybody could come in here and like network, you know. So my method behind this is that I want to bring other creatives, entrepreneurs onto the show and just talk about things, you know, spit game, spit facts, get to know each other. And when they put up the videos on their page and I put up my videos on the page, like we're both kind of cross-referencing, you know?
Right.
His 1,000 followers, you know, I'm exposed to his 1,000 followers and vice versa.
Right.
So I think it's a new way to network.
Yeah.
It's another way to network. It's like going to the trading show without actually being there. All my followers are looking at Pura Ambición. If they love it, they love what they're talking about it. They love what the owner has to say about it.
Yeah.
They're probably gonna buy.
Right.
You know, hey, you're here at Rick Production Studio. This shit's dope as fuck. I want that guy as my videographer.
Yeah.
You know, they're probably gonna follow.
No, I just posted a post earlier. I don't know if you saw it or not, but it said people compete at the bottom and the people at the top are collaborating. So that kind of relates back to what you're just saying right now. Like literally like we're not in competition here. If anything, we're like, dude, shit, let's collaborate. Let's make something fucking happen here. You know what I mean? You got something going on. I got something going on. Combine that shit. Who the fuck knows where that shit can go? You know what I mean?
Especially when you're a videographer, you have to collaborate.
Yeah.
I think it's when it comes to videographers and other videographers or photographers versus other photographers. I think there is a lot of head bumping, you know? And it's funny because if you're down here, I've seen it. If you're down here, you're bumping heads with like thousands of people.
Exactly.
But once you set yourself apart and you start building your brand, you're at a different level now. Now your peripheral vision starts to narrow.
Yep.
And you start to see everybody else that's on your level. And then most likely, like, people bump heads. Yeah. I think some of my best friends right now that are videographers and have it going for themselves, that have studios and stuff like that, they're bumping heads with other dudes that have studios and stuff like that are at their level. Right. So I just feel like it's very competitive. Yeah. But at the end of the day, like, shit talking will be shit talking and, you know, work will be work, you know?
Yeah, that's
so I think
a good point.
It's interesting. Yeah, it's really interesting. It's something that I like noticed, like. And I'm not saying I'm a big shot, nowhere near, bro. I give my respects where respects are due, bro. Like, if I go into someone's studio or if I walk into someone's office, like, my respects are there, bro. Like, you know, it's all hard work.
You gotta stay in your lane, basically.
Yeah, dude.
Stay in your lane.
I think that's why I asked my guys, like, when I met them, like, hey, like, what kind of camera are you rocking with? And I know you're not supposed to, like, look at somebody and for what they have, but to me, that's like you, bro. Like, if I see quality, I see the stitching, man. I notice the details. Yeah. You know, I notice the tag, gold foil. Yeah. That's all, to me, that speaks hard work. Yeah. You know, doesn't matter how many, doesn't matter what the income is, doesn't matter where you're at right now. To me, that's your product. Right. So when a photographer, videographer invests into their equipment, I don't care who they're working with, who they're collaborating with, they're investing in themselves. Yeah. And if they believe in themselves, I'm sure, dude, like, I believe in you too, bro. Like, yeah. So that's why that's a big, like, thing about that. Like, but how you call it? Clothing brand, clothing opportunities. I mean, shoot, we got yourself here on the show. Is there anything you want to say to the audience or anything? Any like tips or anything?
As far as what?
Anything, man. Just, or is there anything you want to talk about that's off topic?
No, I mean, I'm on your show, man. You're asking the questions today, man. I mean, I don't know.
Check this out, man. We have a bunch of videographers and photographers in the room, and I just we have a bunch of videographers and photographers in the room, and what would you say? What would you say a business guy like you who owns a clothing brand? What are you looking for in a photographer and videographer?
I mean, for one, I look for authenticity, right? I'm looking for somebody that's not looking just for a quick buck. Like, I mean, anybody can call themselves a videographer just because you know how to fucking edit some shit and you have a not fucking nice, expensive camera. Yeah, I mean, like I said earlier, you know, I mean, that can technically, like, you know, it can consider yourself a videographer, photographer, whatever you want to call yourself. But it's like, it's not just that. You know what I mean? Like, I could do that myself. I can go invest myself into a fucking nice ass camera. I can fucking spend some time on the internet learning how to fucking edit a video or whatnot. Right? And I can automatically just call myself a fucking, hey, I'm the elite fucking top of the line videographer. I'm the fucking, anybody can do that, right?
What would set you apart?
What would set me apart?
Yeah.
If I was in your guys' kind of industry?
Yeah. What sets us apart?
I think it's like I said, your authenticity. Your authenticity, you guys are not in it for a quick buck. It's like you guys take more passion in what you guys do in your work. It's like, nah, man, like I'm not gonna deliver this shit to this guy, man. This is like a fucking, you know what I mean? Like, fuck the little, whatever it is you guys charge. I don't know what you guys charge. I don't understand it. But point is, it's not just about the money. And in most situations, I've worked with a lot of videographers, and on my side from you, you know, and it's one of those things where it's like most people would just do it for a quick buck, basically. Like,
and
hey,
it's
man,
like a brand, right? Like you said, authenticity.
It's like, okay,
it's
when
like
you say
going
Rick,
with
Rick Productions, for example, right? It's like, hey, like, okay, dude's prices might be a little higher than this dude's, right? I could pay a lot cheaper for this guy, but I'm not gonna get the work that Rick Productions is gonna give me. I know that for a fucking fact. Like, dude.
Or is it like getting into like a Jeep versus a BMW? Well, is it something like that? Is it like damn, well, for this money I could get myself into a nice Jeep, but it's like, but damn, but it's still a basic BMW. But because it's basic, at the end of the day, it's got in there, right?
Yeah.
It's like it's brand, it's built its brand. Right?
So, I mean, a Jeep and to me personally, we're talking about cars.
Not specifically,
I mean, we're talking
bro.
about cars. A Jeep and a BMW, shit. I'll take a Jeep over the BMW. I'm sorry, bro. That's just me, man. But shit, now we're talking a fucking Lamborghini and a fucking BMW. Yeah. Now I was like, okay, wait a minute. Yeah, the fucking Lamborghini is a lot more expensive.
More maintenance and shit
like that.
But they'll see that I'm rocking with a Lamborghini because it's already set its name, right?
Exactly.
It's already set its name.
And that's how I see you guys' kind of like industry. Like,
okay.
Like, dude, okay, you pay for what you get for it, basically. Yeah, you want to be cheap and you don't want to pay that much. Okay, cool. Go. You can hire anybody, fucking do the same work. Well, not the same work, but you're gonna get a lot cheaper. But don't be mad later on with the fucking end result where fucking the videos like cut off in certain sections and shit like that. I mean, you know what I mean. And
because this is like, you know, creatives do follow me. I'm a little bit everywhere right now. Yeah. Entrepreneurs follow me, creatives follow me, people who want their wedding shot.
Yeah.
Bro, like, what is this? I just want my wedding shot. There's been times where I worked with you and you paid me and I delivered the product, and then I think I've told you once, right? I said, you know what, Alex, take your money back. I'm not happy with the product.
Right.
I've done that before, right?
Yeah,
what does that speak? What does that speak of me, right?
I mean,
or what does that speak for a videographer? What did you feel in that moment when I told you paid me the money and I'm like, you know what, Rick, Alex, like, just take your money back, bro. Like, I'm not happy with
the simplest fucking way possible, man. That right there is what I call authenticity. This fucking guy's authentic. This fucking guy's legit. He knows what the fuck he's doing, and he clearly cares more about his work than he does about any fucking dollar that there is out there for him.
I feel like, bro, I think because this is like a entrepreneur, like, kind of like show too as well. I think what I like to tell people is, people who are in my field, you got to do it for the passion, right? And our team understands that. We're just talking about doing this shit for the passion. That's when I know I'm working with the right people, because they do it out of passion, bro. I love these guys, right? And the day like they raise their prices, like, you know, then it was good working with you guys. And, you know, it'll be a teardrop, you know, like, you know, they're like a butterfly. No, I'm just kidding. But no, these are great guys. And the one thing I'm like, my advice to photographers and videographers, because people are like, well, why do you have all this other stuff going on? Well, because at the end of the day, I take this more than a hobby, but I feel like I can't be bought. And it's such a good feeling when you feel like you can't be bought, because if you have, don't get me wrong, we all have to work for a payment, right? We all have to work for a bill. We all got bills to pay. But when you have money coming in from other places and you're dealing with that one asshole that's like, do my video and do this and do that, it's like having a boss. At that point, are you really your own boss? You know what I'm saying? As a photographer, videographer, like, are you really your own boss if you're working for somebody you hate?
Well,
you know?
I mean, you are your own boss, but at the same time, it's like, hey, you are providing a service.
A customer service?
Yeah, it's more of a customer service more than you are your own boss. You dictate whether you still want to. It's at that point it becomes a fuck, like this fucking project is this much. Like, do I really? I could deal with this motherfucker just for a couple like months or whatever till I edit his shit till he wants it. Or so technically, yes, you are your own boss because you have the final say. But you know what, man? Look, clearly you're not happy with what I'm providing you. With that being said, if you're not happy, bro, I just want it ends here. You know what I mean? So you have that final say. So yes, you are your own boss. But at the end of the day, it's like it comes down to whether or not you want to stick with that. You know, versus when you work at a 9-to-5 job, it's like, man, you have a fucking asshole boss. It's like, fuck, man, I got no fucking choice but to deal with this motherfucker because I got bills to pay. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So versus you were like, man, you know what? Fuck this guy. I'm not going to be dealing with his ass. Like, I have nothing to lose. Like, at the end of the day, well, I do have something to lose. I'm losing money, but at the same time, it's like, nothing's going to happen to you personally. It's not like you're going to lose your job because, hey, just like you gained that customer, you're going to gain a whole nother one.
So at the end of the day, you're still your own boss.
You're still your own boss because you have the final say. Versus when you work for a 9-to-5 job, it's like, hey, man, like, you have to pick your battles. It's like, do I really want to take it there with this guy? Because he is my fucking boss. And do I really want to offend him or say something that he's going to be like after me?
That's true.
I mean, that's how I see that situation. Maybe you might see it different, you know?
That is true. That is some good insight. So authenticity.
Yeah, that's the biggest. I mean, as long as you're authentic, man, that shit will take you a long way.
I have a question here, man. I want to change it up a little bit. I got two of my guys here, photographer and videographer, right? These guys, they're their own people. They're on their own standalone. It's amazing. They actually have their own brands and they're getting clientele and it's dope. We have two entrepreneurs in the house. I want to put them on the hot seat.
Okay.
I want you to pick their brain. Is that cool with you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Man. Come on, man.
I got my boy Eder here.
Hell yeah.
And you know what's funny? His name, he goes by Ambition Films.
Is that right? Oh shit!
Come on over,
let me see how ambitious you really are, man. Hey, come on, man! You about to talk to somebody that's real fucking.
So right here, look, Ambition.
Oh shit! Hey guys, whoever's watching this shit, holla at my guy right here.
Man, I'm on the hot seat, bro.
Oh shit! So I mean, I don't know how much you know about me or if you know about me at all. Man, I've been working with this guy for fucking years, man. And that's like, I don't even consider him. It's not even just like a fucking. It's not even just about like, hey man, film some shit for me tomorrow. I'm gonna pay you or not. That guy's like, I can consider that guy your friend. That dude's a fucking friend.
Yeah.
So how'd you meet Rick?
So I met Rick a couple months ago.
Okay.
I've been following him for like about maybe I want to say 2 years.
Okay.
The reason that caught my eye a lot was his video quality, equipment, and all that. Right, as you can see, he's all about quality. So.
Yeah.
I reached out to him when I started wanting to take this more serious. You know, I've always been ambitious about wanting to do video, but you know, I want to say like maybe like 5 years experience, but out of like those years, like, you know, it was just a hobby, you know.
Okay.
Then I started taking it serious when I started getting more clientele, and I was like, okay, cool, maybe I want to start taking this more serious, you know. Like you were talking about earlier, like, you know, I was getting extra income, so I was thinking maybe I could make a career out of this, you know. And so I reached out to Rick because he posted something about that he needed a BTS guy behind the scenes. So I told him, like, you know, I told myself, like, I think this is the moment that I'm gonna start taking my videography more serious. And we went out to LA, and he told me what kind of camera you're rocking with, you know, because, you know, he wanted to see what kind of camera I had, and I was rocking a 5-year-old camera that's, you know, basically only for photos, but you know, I did a transition from photos to videos because I ended up liking videos more. And when I got to know him, like, he's a real cool guy. Looks like he knows what he's doing, and I really wanted to pick his brain because, like I said, I wanted like to be better, you know. I wanted to start taking this videography to the next level. And he told me, he's like, you should invest in a better camera now because I know you can. He told me himself, he's like, you have so much potential.
Right.
that I see you like surpassing me, you know, and coming from someone that I hardly knew, you know, that meant a lot to me. Right. So I knew like reaching out to Rick Productions was the right move for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Shit. Well, it's interesting to fucking, like I said, the guy clearly knows, like you said, you just never know who you're inspiring. I live by that fucking thing. Like I've had people like, dude, like I'm just doing my thing. I'm going day by day. I'm not here to inspire nobody. It's like, hey, but you just never know who you inspire, right?
And you're right, because I can relate to that now. And you know, in a way, you know, all of us inspire each other, you know.
Right.
And you know, I told him like sometimes, you know, I won't have a filter on like what I say about certain things of work. Because I told him, oh, like I think you can get better in this stuff, in this subject. Yeah. You know, and he told me, yeah, I do gotta practice, you know, and he always tells me too, like what I gotta work on, and you know, I'm an open book, man. I'm here to learn,
and that's the key, and that's key to me. That's fucking key, man, because. The way I look at it is like, hey, if you're open to open criticism, as much as it fucking hurts you, the truth hurts. Nobody ever wants to hear the truth because the fucking truth, you know it's fucking true. It's like, fuck, man, this fucking makes it, you don't want to hear it.
A 10-hour job.
You know what I mean?
Telling me that
exactly. I know that shit, right? So it's like truth hurts, and it's like, but if you're open to that shit, to open criticism,
you're only gonna get better.
You're only gonna get better.
You're only gonna get better.
Exactly. And if you're willing and capable of being able to take that criticism, hey man, like sky's the limit.
The sky is the limit.
Yeah. Well, actually, no. Sky is not the limit, motherfucker. There's a space, so it's beyond that, motherfucker. You know what I mean?
Hell yeah. So and because you know we're all here to grow, and we're all here to help each other out.
Absolutely,
you know? Like we're all humans, man, and we should always be helping each other out. Yeah. Like you guys were talking about earlier. Like for me, like when Rick was talking about like, you know, there's competition there. I don't see it as a competition. If anything, I see, like I said, I'm an open book because if anything, I'm going to be learning some new shit that I didn't know before, you know? And, you know, if anything, I've taught, you know, Rick some things too. And he told me before, it's like, shit, bro, like usually I'm the geek, you know? And I learned some new shit with you, bro. Yeah. So it feels good too, like, you know, knowing the fact that I can, you know, help out on the field.
And I'm glad that dude found somebody like you guys. I mean, I know my boy Al back here too. I mean, I'm glad he found somebody, a team, because great things, this is a little bit that I know. I don't know too much, you know what I mean? But I've done my homework. So basically, great things, you can't do it with one person. You know? You need a fucking team behind you.
You need a team, absolutely.
A team that's fucking really
And that's the reason.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you need a team, bro.
You need a team. Yeah, like I said, like, dude, I've been working with this fucking guy. This motherfucker had like a bullshit ass camera. In my opinion, like, dude, this motherfucker, in those days, that shit was a shit. You know what I mean? I'm like, dude, like, I don't give a fuck. Because I was really grown. I mean, like I said, my brand is just a side hustle for me, man. I don't like saying it's a fucking business because it's not. You know what I mean? I'm straight up. I'm a straightforward guy. My shit's not a business. It's a side hustle. You know what I mean? I got my 9 to 5. You know what I mean? It's
same here, brother.
Perfectly fine. You know what I mean? I have my 9 to 5. I have my little side hustle on the side, which is my little clothing line or whatnot. But at the end of the day, it's like great things are built with a team. You can never. I don't care what anybody fucking says,
absolutely,
man. It's just
bro.
not built by
absolutely
yourself.
Agree because you know, working with Rick, I'm just like, bro. There's so much I can do now. Yeah. You know, because by yourself, dude, it's not impossible, but you're gonna get more work faster, things done, and
I mean, 3 heads, 2 heads, 3 heads think better than one. Oh, that's how I see that. You know what I mean? On top of that, you got 2 hands. He has 2 hands. That's 4, 6. That's 8 hands. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, dude, 8 hands could do better than fucking 2. Like, that's how I see that. 30 seconds. This is getting good, dog.
But
so why Ambitious Films, dog?
Ambition Films? Well, because well, when I first started, I knew that I was ambitious about wanting to learn this. Yeah. So I took the name Ambition, and I love films. Yeah. So I put those two together, and now I take a lot of passion into what I do, like work, you said. Right. Authenticity. Yeah. Even when I worked with Rick the first time, I told him, you know what, bro? I was even willing to do the job for free, bro, just so I can work with you. That's how ambitious I was to learn. Right. So that's how I got that name, Ambition.
I look forward to your progress, man.
Yeah, thank you, man. Appreciate it. It was a pleasure meeting you, brother.
Oh, likewise, man.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, man.
Ladies and gentlemen, pura amistad.